Good afternoon, fastball fans, and welcome to the third place game at the 2025 ISC World Tournament. Blair Sedford, Peter Labardius with you on Softball Premier TV and the ISC Network. The winner of this gets a berth in the championship game later this evening. If you lose, you go home with a nice trophy, but you really have a little bit of a bitter taste in your mouth. Peter, the Northeast Drillers, our visitors team coming to the plate. Teo Migliavaca, Blaine Milheim, and a big addition in their lineup.
Yeah, a big addition indeed. Riley Macchia will be the designated player to begin the game. He was hurt in Oklahoma City at the USA Major Men's National Championship in a game against Hill United on their championship Sunday and is seen limited duty, although he knocked in two huge runs late in a winner's bracket semifinal a couple of days ago. And it's also shifted some things for them that we'll get to defensively as well. There's some real changes there for Ron Hackett's team.
And a couple of changes as well for the home team, the Bear Creek Express. They are fresh off of a big 7-1 win over the SDK squad. Left to right, Yusuf Davis, Yusika Merida, and Callum Bichel. But here's where a couple of the changes behind the plate, and it's more in the batting order, I guess, Peter. Bartarillo, Galino, Panabecker, and Pinto on the infield. Ty Sebastian is back in the circle after Pitarona went 5 innings in the last game. Closing 5, Ty started. Jack Burt still behind the plate. And Teo Migliavaca will step up to the plate, batting .333 coming into play today.
Ty Sebastian, Blair, who delivers a first pitch strike, has pitched in every game they've participated in so far at the ISC World Tournament. 2 innings in the 7-1 win earlier against SDK, did not give up a run or a hit, and struck out 4.
A good start for Ty, and I think very fortuitous that they jumped out early as saving the wear and tear on the arm of Ty Sebastian, although he seems to be the $6 million man with the bionic arm and is able to go inning after inning after inning. 31 innings, Peter, as you said, pitching in every game so far for the Express.
And it was a real luxury because when they made their way to the ballpark here in Mankato, they wanted to win 3. They've taken care of business in 1. This should have every making of a classic type affair. We'll see if it plays itself out that way.
Sebastian is up 0-2 on Migliavaca, and he pulls this one foul down the right side.
Teo batting .368 on the year, 3 doubles, a triple, 2 home runs, and 10 runs batted in. He had a hit last night. He was 1 for 4 in the 3-1 setback to Hill United. And Blair, that had to be a difficult game for this team to put behind them.
I think there would have been some soul searching overnight, but you've got to wake up this morning and realize, let's go win 2 ball games. Right down Broadway from Ty Sebastian to get Teo Migliavaca looking. Whatever Teo was looking for, Peter, it wasn't one right down the hoop.
No, absolutely not. And Sebastian, you're right. Right down Main Street. And Migliavaca not ready to pull the trigger, and a good beginning for the guy that I like to call the Brussels Bulldog, Ty Sebastian. He's from Brussels, Ontario.
Blaine Milheim comes in batting .471. That's a very lofty average for Blaine Milheim, who had a bit of a down year, it has to be said, at the World Tournament last year, but recovered to his high standards coming into this one, Peter.
Yeah, 6 for 13 here, .365 on the season for a Drillers team that is 14-7. Should mention, this is the 3rd meeting in 2025 of these two teams. They've split them at 1 apiece. Their most recent matchup came in Oklahoma City. The Drillers won that game at the USA Major Men's National Championship by a count of 3-1.
The other meeting earlier in the year in Mitchell, the Express 4-1 over the Drillers then. That was the beginning of the season. This is the championship.
Yeah, this the only one that matters, the rubber match between teams ranked number 3 and number 4 entering this event in the ISC World Rankings.
That one is fouled well out of play off the bat of Blaine Milheim. And this, Peter, I would have thought would have been a great matchup between these two at the World Cup. Now 3 weeks ago in Prince Albert. It seems like such a distant memory given everything that's transpired since. But Canada never actually got to play the United States at the World Cup.
They did not. They were in different pools in the United States, who ended up winning the bronze medal, Blaine Milheim and company, and he has some American friends on this Northeast Drillers team that won the bronze. They made it to the super round of 4. Canada, Australia, Argentina did not.
And a lot of prognosticators, including myself, with some egg on our faces over that.
Yeah, that's not egg. It's only egg, really, when something doesn't flip completely on its head the way things did. There wouldn't have been almost anybody who's followed this sport who would have said, hey, here's 3 of the 4 that aren't going to make it.
Sebastian. And gets Milheim to wave at a nice pitch on the outside corner. 2 up, 2 down, 2 both by way of the strikeout.
Yeah, Ty starting extremely well and can only hazard a guess that he gained a lot of confidence. Not that he would require a whole lot. He's been a tremendous pitcher at this level now for a long time. But he threw a sparkling 3-hit shutout yesterday morning to end the hopes and dreams of the Bear Creek Gremlins. He was masterful. I thought, Blair, especially in innings 3 through 7.
Yeah, he was very strong. Bit of a rocky start. The Gremlins threatened. Ty bent but not break. And as you mentioned, Peter, a very impressive outing from Mr. Sebastian. Right now, he's got to face the guy who might have been, coming into this tournament, bar the injury, the best hitter in the world. Had a sensational World Cup and leading his New Zealand Black Sox to the silver. Riley Macchia came off the bench, Peter, the other night, spanked a double to the fence, cashed a couple of runs, and that was what the Drillers needed at the time. Get them over the hump.
Well, he was brought in late in the game in a pinch hitting situation, but with a potential base open, Jeff Ellsworth and the Hill United coaching staff put him on base to load the bags and pitch to Zach Shaw, and for Hill United, it worked out.
Well, and no offense to Zach Shaw, but that was an absolute no-brainer with the base was available there for Riley Macchia.
Which is interesting to say about a guy who still leads the team in batting average for the season in Shaw, but you're right, there's a reason as to why he still is hitting in the number 9 spot, but he's had a really good year.
Well, a walk here, and they were very selective in pitching to Macchia, and he will take it very gingerly down to first base.
Yeah, he is, I'm going to guess, in terms of being able to run, he's under 50%.
I talked to him on Sunday at opening ceremonies. I haven't been able to catch up with him since. And I just asked him how it was going, and he's been over at first base right now doing a little bit of stretching. He said he was hopeful to go by Wednesday. That's when he got his first at bat. But he was doubtful that he was going to be certainly able to play in the outfield, and that's absolutely not the case. Juan Zera at the plate. A couple of other changes. Zera, Schiller moves up to the 5 spot, Thomas Anoka 6, Solorio drops from 3 down to 7, and Kronk now down to 8. Zach Shaw still in the 9 spot for the Drillers. In and out of the glove of Sebastian. He recovers, turns, and fires over to first to get the final out of the inning. Ty Sebastian doubles as a shortstop or second baseman when he's not pitching. And he's being collected up by home plate umpire Scott McLaren. Just, I'm assuming, to double check on where the strike zone is going to be.
Well, Ty, I would guess, fields his position as a pitcher as well as anybody in the sport and had to make a tough play on a rocket right back off of him.
Called strike three, the outside corner. They weren't out of that. High in the air, Viavazo comes to get it, and the Chiefs are back to the top of the mountain. The gloves fly. The celebration is underway. Peter, the home team, the Bear Creek Express, coming to the plate in the bottom of the first inning. They'll be led by Callum Bichel, Yusiki Morita, Ty Sebastian in the 3 spot, Leger Pinto, David Galino, Ty Bartarillo in the 6 spot. Peter, the biggest change really is bringing in Alan Salgado as the designated player for this game. He's been the first guy off the bench, gets into the DP spot here in the 7-hole for the Express.
Well, he had a pinch hit opportunity in the game, the 7-1 victory earlier today over one of the great stories of Mankato in this ISC STK fastball. You get a peek at the Drillers lineup, and there are some changes here too. Blaine Milheim's played the majority of the time in right field. Thomas Anoka's been at first. Today he's in right. Marshall Cronk will come into the game defensively and play over at first. By and large, Blair, he has been the designated player. And just to get back to Salgado for a moment or so, he calls San Diego home. He's only had 5 official at-bats this week.
And Peter, just some confusion, some concern, some difficulty over something or other. Ron Hackett is down there as well as Paul Sebastian. They're talking with Randy McLam. If maybe we can pan over just a little bit to the right. Can we pan over a little bit to the right and get the conference by the bench? There we go. And there is Randy McLam in the blue shirt. He's our umpire-in-chief. Now, I could have sworn I saw Scott McLaren behind the dish. Did you not?
I definitely thought he was there to begin.
So Paul Sebastian, the coach of the Express, is waving his team off the field. And Ron Hackett is doing the same. Now, the only thing I can think of whatsoever here, and again, I'm going to go double check on who the umpires are for this game. Joe Todd did mention that there's going to be a change. So I don't want to speculate here. I'm going to go see if I can investigate and find out. In the event that we come back, Peter will pick it up. Sometimes people worry about asking for help because there can be a stigma around mental health problems.
Trust your teammates. Trust your teammates. Trust your teammates.
They might believe that asking for help means admitting that something's wrong.
Trust your teammates. Trust your teammates.
Some people worry about how others might see them.
Trust your teammates. Trust your teammates.
Asking for help means that you want to make changes and take the first steps towards better mental health.
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
We should celebrate the courage it takes to speak up and make changes.
Trust your teammates. Trust your teammates.
Getting help is part of recovery.
Trust your teammates. Trust your teammates.
Mental health isn't something you need to keep to yourself. Talk to a friend. Trust your teammates. You're not alone.
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
The first steps may be the toughest, but knowing where to look for help is a good start. Community mental health organizations like the Canadian Mental Health Association or Mental Health America offer resources and programs that can help you. Visit cmha.ca or mentalhealthamerica.net to find a branch in your community.
And remember,
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
We have a delay. Still trying to investigate. That's what Blair Setford is doing. And Blair is also a member of the ISC overall body. It came at the end of the top of the first, which was a 4-batter half inning. Sebastian giving up a walk. And the Drillers, who were in this very same position a year ago, but lost to Hill United in what is technically called the third place game. And we don't know if this is over an umpiring scenario or not. I know that Sebastian wasted very little time to question what was going on at the end of that half inning. And Blair, I think you have an answer.
Yeah, I do. Home plate umpire Scott McLaren not feeling well at all. He went to Ty came to him and he kind of leaned on Ty. He's physically ill, and we're going to get a replacement umpire to come down. Glenn Brown will be filling in behind home plate for Scott McLaren. We certainly wish Scott well. I talked to him very briefly. He said it's nothing to do with the heat. He just physically does not feel well, very unsteady on his feet. So we're going to have a break while we wait for Glenn Brown to get ready. So, Peter, why don't we review how these teams got here, and then at some point we'll need to take a break when we run out of things to talk about.
Which for the two of us might be a week from today.
Yes, that is very possible.
But we will not do that to our viewers, and it's unfortunate, but I echo those sentiments of Scott McLaren, Penticton, British Columbia's own, and he has worked a lot of major events in his fine umpiring career. Gets a quality assignment today, and, well, nothing more important in life we find out than health. And as you see it, there's a graphic I have rarely seen in my lifetime.
Yeah, it happens very infrequently, and when it does, I mean, think of yourself having to go get changed into a business suit to go to a meeting on 0 moments notice, and how long that would take you to go get dressed. So we're going to have this break while we're waiting for the replacement umpire.
Remember, we did see a situation like this earlier in the year at the Chiefs Challenge. It was 47 degrees in Simcoe on that Sunday, and our home plate umpire that was definitely a heat scenario in the game, and there was a break. So it's actually the second time in a game where I've been behind a microphone in 2025 that we have had this kind of situation. Blair, I was mentioning, as we focus more in on the matchup, the Drillers in the very same situation this year that they were 1 year ago in Surrey, British Columbia.
This is a tough game for the team that's waiting. It's the Drillers. It was the Drillers a year ago, and I'm not sure exactly what the success rate is of the team that lost the winner's bracket final, or the undefeated game for those who like that vernacular. It's a tough spot to be in because the team you're playing has already won one. They come in on a roll, not you. This delay may actually benefit the Drillers because it takes some wind out of the sails of the Express.
Albeit, just to revisit what's already happened today on the field, in I guess what you at the ISC would call a fourth place game, or my vernacular might be a 3-4 playoff game, doesn't matter, it's the same situation. It was over pretty early. Take nothing away from a surprise story of this event, STK Fastball, who put on a whale of a show, but they gave up 6 runs in the first inning, and it was very much in the bank the rest of the way.
Yeah, from what I heard, it was hit. There might have been a hit by pitch or something, and then very quickly there was a 3-run home run by Cody Panabecker.
Yeah, Cody has 3 home runs now, and that blow, the first batter that Juan Pepe faced, he took over from the starter, Scott Life. Now, for the Drillers, you talk about, and it'll be interesting, I'm going to do that research going into next year, just how teams who lose in the winner's bracket final end up doing in a quasi-semifinal game towards the championship final, which, by the way, the Hill United Chiefs will have an opportunity to defend their crown that they won, and they were in a position that the Express were in last year. They had to win 3 on the Saturday to be crowned champions, and led by Alan Pecker in so many different ways, Hill United was able to do that. The other part about last night is, Blair, while we have a second or two, you've been around the game a long time. I've watched the game my whole life as well. I don't ever remember seeing an inning like the 6th inning for Hill United when they scored 3. They batted around and had 1 hit.
Yeah, a single hit, and for the Drillers, that was an inning that they're, as we talked about off the top, they're going to need to put that one behind them and focus on this one here. I think at some point, if I'm Hoimo Mata sitting on the bench for the Drillers right now, I would love to get about a 5-minute warning and start throwing the ball. In fact, we're seeing it with Ty Sebastian. If you look screen left, you see Ty Sebastian has come out of the dugout and is just doing some soft toss right now. He's already had the top of the first to his benefit. Wimo Mata, I'm sure, will emerge from the Drillers dugout and will go down the line and throw some warm-up pitches before he's expected to come out. And I would assume that the umpires will give him that time to do it as well. But it'd be great if he had it done ahead of time, given that we've got this lengthy delay.
Well, I would suggest that you and I take a timeout and come back when the umpiring change.
Well, we can go through the record and how both teams got here, and maybe by that time Glenn Brown will emerge from the change room and get escorted over to the Park PDQ.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca. We can't wait to see.
A metal roof lasts a lifetime. Thousands trust Metal Roof Outlet to install stylish, stone-coated metal roofing that looks just like traditional shingles. Make a smart and worthwhile investment for your home with Metal Roof Outlet. Contact us through metalroofoutlet.com to get a quote for a roof replacement anywhere in Southern Ontario. Because when you trust Metal Roof Outlet with your roof replacement, it may be the last time you ever replace your roof. How confident are you in your organization's security posture? If your answer isn't 100%, you're not alone. Most organizations aren't doing enough to protect their data, and they know it. With Armitage Technology, you can stop worrying about IT security issues so you can focus on moving your business forward. Our experienced staff monitor and maintain your IT infrastructure to keep your business running. Visit us at armitagetech.com and make your technology work for your business.
Do you need a reliable supply of products to run your business? Are you tired of having to deal with multiple suppliers to get everything you need? Absolute Business Supply is your dedicated, full-service business supply partner, offering over 400,000 products and unmatched customer service. At ABS, we aren't just selling products. We offer a commitment to building meaningful relationships with our customers, getting to know your business goals so we can provide the best possible solutions for your needs. Find us on the web at absolutebusinesssupply.ca and let us get it for you.
This business was opened in 1965 by my father, Ned Matiosi. Could have walked in here 25, 30 years ago and seen just about the same thing. The process of making this suit takes about 6 weeks. It goes through about 12 or 13 hands as it's moved along the line. It's an old-time place. Making stuff from scratch here in the city at a reasonable cost. It's a very personal type of business.
Well, Peter, I just saw Glenn Brown being delivered to the field, so we should just be moments away from resuming this matchup between the Northeast Drillers, who are now out on the field for the bottom of the first inning. Defensively for Bear Creek, it's Yusuke Morita in center, Yusuf Davis in left, Callum Bichel in right, Tyrone Barbarello, David Golino, Cody Panabecker, Leader Pinto is at first base. With the batting order, Bichel, Morita, Sebastian, Pinto, Golino, Barbarello, Salgado we talked about, Panabecker still batting 8, and Yusuf Davis still batting 9. Jack Burt catching drops into the flex spot. And then defensively for the Drillers, Solorio, Migliavaca, Thomas Anoka goes out to right. Blaine Milheim, Cam Schiller, Zach Shaw, Marshall Kronk at first, and Quinn Mata to Juan Zera as ever. The changes on the corners, I don't think it'll take either of them too long to adjust to their new realities.
Well, in the case of Blaine Milheim, that has been his starting spot. It has belonged to Gonzalo Masmu this week, and it has everything to do with the injury to Riley Macchia, who would, if healthy, be in right field.
Yeah, and absolutely. And that is the versatility of Blaine Milheim and the ability to play basically anywhere on the infield and pretty much anywhere in the outfield as well. Callum Bichel for Bear Creek has been one of the straws stirring the drink for this squad. .353.
He homered in the earlier game victory, 7-1 versus STK Fastball, who will wind up with a very, very fine fourth place finish. Bichel's a 28-year-old from Cookshill, North South Wales, Australia.
That's a lot to get onto an address envelope in the window.
It is. So is the last name Lubardius. Waymo Mata, Blair, I don't think there's any doubt about it, has been in fine form here in 2025 at this event.
Well, a lot of observers have been saying this looks a lot like the Waymo Mata of 2022. Of course, they're going to have to go the long way through. They didn't have to do that in 2022. They took the short route to the championship game.
He's pitched 27 innings, given up 11 runs, 14 hits, struck out 43, and walked 12.
That one misses inside from Mata. And Peter, just to finish off with the Blue Crew, now Glenn Brown behind the plate. George LeMaitre, Hamilton, Ontario, is over at first. And David Lee from Chesterfield, Missouri, is at third base.
A suburb of St. Louis. A lot of St. Louis Blues hockey players reside in Chesterfield, Blair.
That one misses downstairs to Bichel.
Waymo Mata in the game against Hill United last night was on an incredible roll before all you-know-what broke loose for him and his teammates in a 3-run Chiefs sixth inning. He had retired the previous 13 batters in a row, and against that lineup, that is no small task.
And I thought Peter was on cruise control. You and I remarked that getting past Alan Pecker might be the biggest obstacle to them winning that particular game. And then it just happened in the sixth and completely lost the momentum.
Well, he started the inning by walking pinch hitter Pipolo Lopez, and one of the most key plays in that inning was a beautifully placed bunt for a base hit by the next hitter, Luciano Biondi.
Yusuke Morita at the plate, shows bunt, and then pulls it back.
Bichel draws. A leadoff walk is now not only has the landing spot today, there's been a couple of base runners that have done a little excavation work on the path from first to second.
Yeah, there's certain spots where the dirt will collect as the grooming vehicle turns the corner, and it will spin out a little bit of extra dirt, and that spot does seem to be one of them. Morita swings over the drop, and no chance for Juan Zera to throw out Callum Bichel. He lost the handle, and I'm not sure whether he got the pitch that he wanted or they're now just going out for a signal change with Mata, but he looked like he got handcuffed on that pitch.
He did. I was expecting him, and he has a great release from behind home plate. Does the Argentina national team catcher, who has hit the ball very well this year for the Drillers, on top of his quality work behind home plate. So
Mata back to the board. And fouled off at the plate by Yusuke Morita, who does a little elbow shiver, Peter, just as his last timing mechanism as the pitch is about to be delivered.
Well, he almost winds himself down towards the ground and then, like a spring, pops up.
Yeah, he launches into the pitch.
Look at him crouch down, and now he's going to explode up.
Can't get to the rise ball. Up and in from Hoimo Mata. We saw that pitch a lot last night, too, and it's always been one of the feature pitches of Hoimo Mata on lefties to bring the rise across the plate and right into the hands.
I was not at the 2022 ISC World Tournament, but in the last 2 years when I've been around this level a lot, I've never seen him throw this well outside of some of the work I watched him do, particularly internationally in 2019 when he led Argentina to a World Cup crown in Prague.
No, it's definitely a return to form for Hoimo Mata, 2022 being, well, 2019 through 2022 being the apex. Ty Sebastian at the plate.
6 for 19 in the batter's box. He's doubled, he's homered twice, and driven in 3 runs. Had a hit earlier today in the 7-1 triumph over STK.
And Ty was the biggest catalyst for change in turning over this Bear Creek lineup. They went and got Ty Sebastian. They said right up front, Ty is going to be our all-world pitcher. Sean Cleary was on the roster, but they were going to bring in Ty to be the number 1 guy. Sean Cleary is not here at the ISC World Tournament. He will be with Canada going to Chengdu, China for the World Games, was on the World Cup roster, but sadly not here at the ISC World Tournament. But other than David Galino, everybody else on this Bear Creek team was turned over.
Yeah, it was a massive overhaul in the offseason. And they absolutely showed everyone that they meant business in 2025, Blair, when they won that great event with 6 of the top 8 teams in the rankings in Mitchell, Ontario.
That was a good start for Bear Creek. Laced by Sebastian, but just inches foul. Blaine Milheim might be wanting to go back to right field after that missile headed his way.
Well, Ty Sebastian, arguably as good an all-round player as you'll find in the sport. Pitches, hits in the 3-hole.
And will play short or second when he's not pitching.
And he had a mighty cut at the Mata pitch.
A long look in from Mata to Zara. Sebastian a little bit more of a crouch and chokes up at 2 strikes and can't get to that inside drop. Second strikeout of the inning.
That is a pitch that has really allowed a great deal of the success. The ability to work underneath the hands to a right-handed batter. You probably couldn't have gone and handed that ball to Juan Zara any better than he just pitched it.
We've seen a lot of guys working inside this week, and over the years, the euphemism was always when in doubt, down and out. But more and more, Peter, this week especially, I've seen the pitchers having success coming in and either under the hands or with the rise ball, and we saw it on the strikeout to Morita, up and over the hands.
And Mata's done both very effectively to right and left-handed hitters as he's dealing with Luigi Pinto.
This one catches Pinto, or did it? Did he manage to get out of the way?
He did manage to get out of the way. As Mata says, that's on me. Pinto, a great add to this team.
Oh, just the offensive prowess that he brings. A fantastic catcher behind the plate. Started the week behind the plate, has moved over to first. He's not 100% with the legs, but still batting .444 coming into the day's action.
Yeah, he's 9 for 22.
Up and in, and Luigi Pinto's first step almost brings him out of the box. He really hangs out over the top of the plate, and that pitch might have just been a message to back off.
I know there's been a lot of controversy this year. There's been a couple of hit batters that have sent the softball world into a bit of a frenzy, but the truth of the matter is a lot of the best hitters, and you try to take every advantage, absolutely can lean over the plate, and as a pitcher, you need to be able to take that part back.
This one is laced by Pinto to left. That's going to get all the way to the fence. He's going to try to leg this out for 3. Digging into third, sliding in safely is Luigi Pinto.
The 38-year-old able to stay back on this changeup. Pull it down the line. I did not expect him to try it for third, but I would add this point. I don't think Yordan Solorio, the left fielder, is anywhere near 100% in terms of his mobility for Northeast.
We saw that last night. He hit a base hard when he was running out a ground ball at first, and I think he may have jammed an ankle or something, but definitely he is not 100%. But Luigi Pinto put his head down and gutted it out, getting to third base, and a real solid slide into the bag as well.
Blair, that is his 6th extra base hit of this competition, and he's up to 7 runs batted in. Arguably none more important to this point than that run batted in and a triple.
David Galino, shortstop, and leans back out of the way.
Now, Galino has been an interesting story this week. He is not playing, I can tell you this, at 100%. That right upper leg has been bandaged. But coming into the day, he had only 1 hit.
Yeah, 133.
Before delivering 2 hits.
Make it 3. Back-to-back RBIs for the 4 and 5 batters for the Bear Creek Express. And Joe Todd talks about hitting being contagious. Express players hoping to catch a cold.
And what helped a little bit is because with the runner at third, the infield was drawn in. If Zach Shaw is at his regular depth, he probably makes that play, even though, again, a rocket off the bat of Galino. And don't forget, 2 hits against STK, but I still have not seen how he didn't deliver a third hit. He hit a ball back off what looked to be the hand of Juan Pepe, and it disappeared on me. I saw him go to first. I thought for sure it was a base hit, but it caromed off that hand into a glove.
Oh, jeez. Well, that's almost like the play the other night that went off the glove of Kuba Osichka. He got the line drive right back at his face, got the glove up, deflected it up in the air, and Alberto Penuelas caught it.
Well, that one, because I was watching up here, had a great view of it.
And David Yaluska already in the game running for David Galino, a substitution here in the first. That's very early. So there's an indication absolutely that he's not healthy. Ty Bartarillo flies out to Solorio in left field. And maybe that was a little presumptive to pinch run for Galino, but nonetheless, the Express jump out and get 2 here in the bottom of the first inning. Through 1 complete, we continue to see all kinds of different things here at the ISC World Tournament. Took us a long time to get through it, but we'll go to the second coming up.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca. We can't wait to see you soon.
Well, Peter, the delay certainly did not hurt the Bear Creek Express in the batting department. They have come loaded for Bear today. They brought their hitting shoes.
Again, remember in their first game of the day, the 7-1 victory over STK earlier, they scored 6 runs in the first inning in that game.
Cam Schiller, Thomas Anoka, Jordan Solorio. 5, 6, 7 in the batting order for the Drillers, who have been scoring runs by the basketful. This one is lifted way up in the air, deflected by David Galino right into the breadbasket of Yusuke Morita, and I'm sure that's exactly how they drew it up.
You know it's going well when? This seemed to be in a great spot if you're the batter.
That's the Bermuda Triangle, and you take it, I got it. The ever-popular F6-8 in your scorebook at home.
No, not popular at all. But one thing you can never take away from players from the country of Japan is how technically sound they are.
Well, and in position, right? He doesn't make that catch if he lays back and assumes that Galino will get to that ball.
He went. I'm not sure who called it. Galino appeared to have the best crack, and again, I can talk about good positioning or being technically sound. I describe that play with 2 words: good fortune.
Yes.
And you need it to win.
You sometimes
always.
Yeah, you have to be good to be lucky and lucky to be good. Thomas Anoka at the plate. 2 hits last night for Thomas in the winter bracket final. He lifts this one up to short center, and that one is going to fall in. Nobody there to deflect it to Yusuke Morita this time.
The 34-year-old Thomas Anoka, another very versatile player, playing today in right field. He's been at first base the majority of the week. And this time, high in the air, and that absolutely no chance for either second baseman Cody Panabecker or Yusuke Morita in center field as Thomas Anoka continues to deliver. He's now up to 7 hits. He's 7 for 11.
Yeah, he was 600 coming into the day, a paltry 600, and gets under the slide, or under the tag rather, by David Galino. And I said at the beginning of the week, Peter, somebody was going to get thrown out at some point on a ricochet back from that trampoline effect with the mesh behind home plate. And Thomas Anoka had to scramble to get there to second base. I'm sure he thought he was just going to have an easy jog down to the bag. Not so much.
It has happened already, certainly in one game that I broadcast earlier this week. Nearly happened again.
Solorio at the plate, having a down year for him, and that is definitely injury related. This one is lifted a mile in the air again. Calling for it is Galino, 1.5 steps out onto the grass, and he makes the grab. Peter, there is a bit of a breeze out there. It's blowing right to left. and it just blew the lid off of our cooler.
It's picking up by the second, by the way.
Yeah, it just accelerated a little bit, and that flag just changed positions too, and it may be blowing a little bit out all of a sudden. Marshall Kronk at the plate.
I don't think there was much in the way of bad weather forecast for today, but clouds are starting to creep in, and some of them are dark in nature. Well, it wouldn't be the 2025 ISC World Tournament without some wind in our booth.
It's been a calm few days ever since those opening day storms that we had and set us back here on Softball Premier TV and the ISC Network with a couple of planned games that we were unable to do, and that was really unfortunate because we had a couple of great games that were ongoing that would have loved to bring to you, but circumstances dictated that we couldn't.
Well, here's the positive piece, is that pitch high to Kronk. When I left the park the first bad night, Blair, I wasn't sure we were going back on the air again.
That was a very difficult evening, and to our eternal gratitude, some of the fellows from the Townsend Tide were a big help in helping us get through that evening in particular. Marshall Kronk at the plate. Has not been a great tournament for Marshall. A big hit here, however, would certainly help to erase all of that bad news.
He's just 1 for 9 here in Mankato. The one hit came in a 13-2 win in their opener over the Masonry Sting. Oh for 2 last night in the loss to the Hill United Chiefs, who await the winner in the title game.
And that one fouled off by Kronk at the plate. For the Drillers, the runs certainly came fast and furious in their first couple of games. 13-1 over that Wabash AJ Masonry Sting. 11-0 over the Waterdown Hammer. So through your first 2 games, you're averaging 12 runs for. Not bad. Not bad.
Then the competition starts.
Yeah, got a little better there. 7-6 in 8 innings, and what might still be the game of the week over the Ostrander Norsemen. That game was back and forth, back and forth. Norsemen scored 3 in the top of the 7th to tie the game at 6. Had an opportunity in the 8th, did not score in the bottom half. First pitch, Juan Zera, a line drive home run over the fence in left field for the walk-off win.
At about 1:04 a.m.
Kronk fouls this one out of play.
I was having a date with my eyelids at the time.
You and a lot of people, and it's unfortunate because there were 3 extra inning games on this diamond prior to that one going extra innings. It was a long day at the ballpark.
I made it to about the 6th. And then it was 3:30, and the first thing I did when I woke up was take a peek.
Kronk fouls another one off to the right side. Exactly the same pitch and exactly the same result.
Kronk did not have a hit against Marco Diaz in Hill United. I did think he had a couple of better at-bats later in that game than some of the at-bats earlier in this event.
After a day off, the Drillers got to face the Bear Creek Gremlins and prevailed 4-2. That was another outstanding game here on the ISC Network and Softball Premier TV. As under the hands goes Ty Sebastian, and he gets Marshall Kronk swinging.
Ty's second strikeout of the afternoon. Or third, pardon me.
We'll go to the bottom half. Express still leading by 2. Alan Salgado to lead things off for the Express. The 7 batters, 7, 8, 9, Salgado, Panabecker, and Davis. And Peter, they have been getting great production out of the bottom of the order between Cody Panabecker and Yusuf Davis.
Absolutely. Panabecker's had a couple of huge home runs. Don't forget he hit one in the 2-0 victory over the Bear Creek Gremlins in that playoff encounter yesterday, and really slammed the door on STK's tournament when he turned 3-0 into 6-0 in the bottom of the first earlier today.
And that really put paid to that game. At 3-0, you're still in the game. 6-0, barring a miracle, you're pretty much out.
And it felt like that the rest of the game. Not a lot of juice to it after that home run.
Salgado has had limited at-bats for the Express here this week, just 5.
2 hits after hitting .385 at last year's World Tournament.
But one of those was a huge pinch hit home run for Allen coming into a game the other day. That was in the win over Sandlot. He came in and got a pinch hit shot. That game was 6-1 in favor of the Express, but it was closer than that. They pulled away late.
Wayne Momata giving up a couple of runs early in the game. And tries to find a groove again to limit the Express attack.
Salgado flares this one out to left, and a diving attempt out there by Solorio, and sliding in safely, head first slide. Great hustle by Alan Salgado, making the most of his opportunity here in the starting lineup.
Well, it's all going the Express's way so far on this Saturday. Solorio goes down, can't come up with it, lost his glove, and don't really have a chance to see, but Salgado really stopped almost. He was very indecisive, and frankly, Blair, probably got away with one in order to make it to second.
Well, that was a good slide by Allen to get to the bag. And Cody Panabecker, maybe the second hottest guy in the tournament, Peter, behind Choco Munoz, who just had a whale of an event.
5 home runs, 15 runs batted in, which leaves him tied for third as far as a single ISC World Tournament in the RBI category. The record is 17, and it's held by 2 or 3. I think Wayne Laulu.
Wayne Laulu is 1 as Panabecker gets hit on the elbow. And none too thrilled about that is Cody Panabecker. He'll get a bit of an escort halfway down first base. Wayne Laulu and Donnie Hale, the co-holders of that particular record at 17. There are half a dozen guys who have hit 6 home runs in the ISC World Tournament, and a lot more who have 5, and joining that prestigious list is Choco Munoz.
And 2 of those home runs were game-winning home runs, including a 10th inning blast off the scoreboard to end the hopes of the host Ostrander Norseman. And then in a game yesterday against JDT First Energy, Munoz in a 2-2 tie took one out to right for a 2-run shot, and they held on to win it 4-3.
You know, he has been right in the midst of all that success that STK team had here this week, finishing with a 6-2 record.
The Drillers already, to me, Blair, feel like they could use some kind of spark.
It's a little flat here right now, and again, you have to wonder if maybe that 20-minute delay with the umpire change at the beginning of the game, if that had any impact on the Drillers. Certainly didn't hurt the Express.
Well, even if you're a member of the Drillers and you see what happened on that Galeno off his glove to Merida for an out, you're like, oh boy, are we in for another tough day?
Davis fouls that immediately behind him. That's almost impossible to do.
Member of the United States, bronze medal winning team at the recently completed World Cup. There won't be another one of those now for 4 years. The next one slated for 2029.
At a site TBD, from what I understand. This one fouled off and actually gets to the other field. Those are few and far between, given the distance between the parks. Very rarely do you see a ball get into play on another diamond. And I think one of the great features of the designers of this park was that they put enough distance between all of the fields to keep that from happening. Some real nice broad walkways in between the fields here at Caswell Sports Park. North Mankato, Minnesota. It's been a great week here in Minnesota. And Peter, it feels like just yesterday that we got going. Joe and I and Brian Aradis, who is our communications specialist, the three of us have been traveling all week, and it just felt like it's been downhill on roller skates here as we speed toward the end of the tournament later today. Davis chases after the drop ball off the plate. First out of the bottom of the second inning. Huemo Mata, still some work to do now back at the top of the shop with Callum Bichel and then Yusuke Merida.
Bichel walked and scored the first run of the game. And you're right, these types of events, they do go downhill very quickly at times, I find. At other times, it can feel like you've been here for 3 weeks.
Well, that's certainly not the case here. And I know I'm going to get up tomorrow morning early to get on an airplane back home to the greater Toronto area. But a little part of me is going to miss being here and seeing all this fantastic men's fast-pitch softball.
Well, it has been a great event. This is a great facility. And kudos to the grounds crew. And they've had some things to deal with this week, too.
Yeah, there have been some challenges between the weather, just the wear and tear that a men's event like this puts on the fields in particular.
They were immaculate when I stepped into the park a week ago.
And you think of the volume of rain that we got on the weekend, and then you would show up here in the morning, and these fields absolutely were ready to play. The lawn was being mowed. It's really been Just a fantastic week here when you don't have to worry about the facilities. Schiller off the glove of Mata, and a double play. Nobody does that better than Cam Schiller.
And Schiller looks a little tender after turning it over. It goes off the glove of Waymo Mata. And the Drillers looking for a spark. Maybe this is it, as the U.S. national team shortstop shows why he's been one of the best for many years at the shortstop position here in Mankato on the final day of the ISC World Tournament.
Dreamcatcher, inch by inch, we'll fight to make the lives of First Nations people in this community, this province, and on this continent better. I know we have a long way to go, but I'm proud to say as long as our people have a need, Dreamcatcher will be there for them.
Zach Shaw, the 9-batter, will lead off for the Northeast Drillers here in the third inning. He has been a spark plug for this team all season long. And Peter, when you can get people setting the table at the bottom of the order for the top, so much the better. That's why you have success.
Even though a shortened season, I believe this overall is their 22nd game of the year. Zach Shaw, who's also an assistant softball coach at Mississippi State University, is batting .404, Blair, 4 for 13 in Mankato. He's homered a couple of times, and they came in the same game early in the tournament.
That was against the Ostrander Norsemen, and we thought at the time, with his second home run, that would have sealed the deal for the Drillers, but the Norsemen had other plans, and ultimately so did Juan Zera. The Drillers played two events early in the season. They played the Canada's qualifier in Mitchell. They played the following week at the Chiefs Challenge and lost to Hill United in the final of that one. And then because so many of their players were going to be involved with the World Cup, they took the next few weeks off, reconvened for the U.S. men's major. They finished third there, and looking to improve upon that here. They can do no worse than third here.
And they finished third in 2024 at this ISC World Tournament, which was held at another spectacular facility, Softball City.
To Hopper out to Galino. He fires across for the first out here in the top of the third inning.
Always impressed with David Galino's game. I don't know if he has a baseball background, Blair, out of Venezuela, but he fields the ball technically very well. He's got great hands, strong throwing arm.
There are so many good shortstops in our game, and you can just go around the map and pick out some of the great shortstops from each country. Shane Boland from Canada, Cam Schiller from the USA, David Galino from Venezuela, Guadalupe Ayon from Guatemala, Cole Evans, maybe the best of the bunch from New Zealand. It is a skill-rich position.
And a mighty important position as well.
Popped up in the air on the bunt attempt. That's an easy out for Tyrone Borderillo. Migliavaca. Not what he was looking for.
Not at all. And usually that's a great strength. He, for me, is one of the top 5 two-hole players in this game. There isn't anything that Teo can't do. Small ball, long ball, runs incredibly well, fields his position, has a great throwing arm. Outside of that,
yeah, he's barely adequate. Milheim looks at that one out and away. And Peter, sorry, I misspoke. Guadalupe Ayon from Mexico, not to Guatemala. Upstairs to Blaine Milheim, ball 2.
Blaine Milheim last year had 5 hits in Surrey in his first 6 at-bats, and then it was very difficult. That's not been the case this year. I believe he has a hit in every single game he's participated in.
Yeah, 471 coming into the day. He has been really strong. Our crack research staff here, Peter, to my immediate right, Luciano Lafrano, notes that David Galino was signed in Mexico's professional baseball league in Monterrey, but then jumped into softball, get this, 4 years ago. Only 4 years ago.
You know what? It doesn't surprise me at all. That's why I mentioned it. In many ways, Blair, I can always tell when people field the ball, in many cases, not all, that they might have come from a baseball background, and in that part of the world too. There's a pretty decent chance. Mexico, Venezuela, the Dominican, those are all great baseball countries on top of producing elite-level softball players. Imagine Venezuela winning the world title without David Galino and Luigi Pinto.
Both of them slated to be on the team, and for some administrative reasons, we're not.
You're even more politically correct than I was earlier today in referring to that.
3-2 to Milheim. Chopped in the infield, Sebastian throws, sliding safely and in with the head first slide. Blaine Milheim legs out an infield base hit.
Well, earlier in the game, spoke of the fact that I'm not sure anybody fields the position better than a guy who plays a lot of infield, too, at times. Milheim sliding in, much to the chagrin of the Express dugout, who erupted. So did Luigi Pinto over at first. He thought he had out number 3 of the inning. As the hit in every game parade continues for 0-0, Blaine Milheim. Always loved to mention his hometown. It's Homer, Michigan. Pretty good name for a place to come from for a ball player.
Yeah, indeed. Riley Mahakia at the plate. His second regular batting appearance here has been limited to pinch hitting duty over the course of just the last couple of games. Milheim runs exceedingly well. Burt has a very strong arm behind the plate.
You're not taking any chances here.
No, you're not at all.
You don't want to take the bat out of this guy's hand.
Not in the least. You're going to let Riley Makia swing away. In for a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Makia. And again, coming inside. And Peter, I remember a conversation several years ago with Todd Martin, who was pretty good at this whole pitching thing. And he always used to say, if you're afraid to come inside pitching, you shouldn't be pitching.
One of the all-time great changeups.
Swing and a miss, buries the drop ball under the hands. Ty Sebastian strikes out Riley Makia and strands the Blaine Milheim single. Sebastian looking very good here once again, Peter.
He has been excellent. His second tour of duty, he was only needed for 2 as they're trying to win their second straight on this championship Saturday.
A metal roof lasts a lifetime. Thousands trust Metal Roof Outlet to install stylish, stone-coated metal roofing that looks just like traditional shingles. Make a smart and worthwhile investment for your home with Metal Roof Outlet. Contact us through metalroofoutlet.com to get a quote for a roof replacement anywhere in Southern Ontario. Because when you trust Metal Roof Outlet with your roof replacement, it may be the last time you ever replace your roof.
Peter Huemo-Mata in search of a clean inning. Hasn't been able to get that through the first 2. Gave up 2 runs in the first. Faced 6 batters. Another 4 came to the plate, and he was only out of that inning courtesy of a fine defensive play by Cam Schiller to get the double. Yusuke Morita slashes that first pitch foul into the screen in front of his bench.
Blair, I always wonder when someone has pitched as much as Huemo-Mata, do you get to a certain point where innings start to add up and take their toll? Especially high leverage innings.
Well, we saw that 2 years ago with Huemo at Circle Tap in 2023. And Yusuke Morita's supreme back control just drops the barrel into the zone and knocks that past shortstop Cam Schiller into the 5.5 hole.
Goes with this pitch. Explodes out of the crouch and literally punches it through for his first hit of the day. He was 0 for 3 in the win over STK earlier.
Yusuke was batting .333 coming in. And Sebastian, of all people, drops down a bunt.
Well, he tried one early in the first game, too. Had 2 misses, and then it went away. But he did a nice job to execute this sacrifice.
And somewhere, Joe Todd is cheering.
He might not be alone, by the way. I know who isn't.
Well, listen, if you are dropping down a bunt to get somebody into scoring position for this guy, that's okay. Because this guy has been money in the bank for Bear Creek Express here this week. Most recently, smashing a triple down to the fence down the line in left field.
And that somebody is Luigi Pinto. "38 years of age from, and I shouldn't even try it, Valencia, Venezuela."
And he'll take the trip down to first and more than casually, let's say forcefully, discard the bat towards the general direction of the bench.
Very much so.
Not happy about being pinned.
Oda. in the third.
And a pinch runner for Leisure Pinto. That is Chase Konechny. Konechny has done a lot of pinch running, but that's really what he is here for.
David Galino has driven in a run today as his bat has finally come alive in Mankato, and what a time. Forgot his elbow. That's why the slight delay in this case.
Galino, that hard hit ball in the first for an RBI.
His third hit of the day. He had one hit coming into this championship Saturday.
And this one is lifted foul out of play.
His quick hands. I see he has discarded the all-pink batting gloves that he was wearing earlier in the year.
And if I recall correctly, there was a story behind that. I don't want to get the story wrong, so I'm not going to attempt to reproduce it, but I believe there was a story behind the pink batting gloves, still sporting the pink thumb guard as we're working through a couple of kinks. It sounds like we're okay now. In for a strike on the outside corner.
Galino unhappy. He thought that ball was up. Remember, unfortunately, our home plate umpire to begin, Scott McLaren, had to leave the game. He was very ill.
This one is lifted up to short center. It's a long run for Migliavaca, but he's up to that and chases it down for the second out of the inning.
He just covers so much ground, gets good breaks on the ball off the bat, and didn't need to utilize it, but also has a very strong throwing arm.
Ty Bartarillo flied out to left, ending the first. Yusuke Morita singled up to second base. Pinto hit by pitch, and Konechny is on to run. And a chopper on the infield. Shaw has to wait for the runner to go past him, but easily makes the play.
It was good work by Konechny to delay to try to create some havoc. But Shaw able to handle the ball very well.
This business was opened in 1965 by my father, Ned Matiosi. Could have walked in here 25, 30 years ago and seen just about the same thing. The process of making this suit takes about 6 weeks. It goes through about 12 or 13 hands as it's moved along the line. It's an old-time place. Making stuff from scratch here in the city at a reasonable cost. It's a very personal type of business.
Ty Sebastian is going to exchange the ball for a different one from Glenn Brown, our replacement home plate umpire. For the Drillers, it'll be Juan Zara, Cam Schiller, and Thomas Inoka, 4, 5, and 6 for the Northeast Drillers from Richmond, Virginia. This franchise, Peter, has moved around a little bit in the last few years. They started 2022, or even 2021, the Kitchener-Hallman Twins.
Then did they become Niagara?
Then they were the Niagara Stompers for a season, and it's been the Northeast Drillers the last 2.
Only one hit for this Driller team so far against Ty Sebastian. And that hit belonged to Blaine Milheim, and it was an infield single, Blair. And Inoka has the other hit. So
Inoka's been on fire here this week.
Yeah, 7 for 11 is the longtime New Zealand national team member. A former member of the Bear Creek Express.
Yeah, Tom has a pretty impressive jersey collection.
Does he?
Toronto Gators. Well, you can go back to...
Oh, you mean just in his career?
Just in his career.
I gotcha.
Yes, yeah. Swing and a miss by Juan Zara. I mean, you can go back to Tom when he first came over to North America. I believe it was with the old Aurora, Dolan, and Murphy Shamrock squad back in very early 2010s. Zara chases the drop ball down and in. That has become the go-to pitch today for strikeouts for Ty Sebastian, mostly known for his rise ball and to get guys to chase up and out of the zone. He's burying the rise ball under the hands of those right-handed batters.
He has been superb the last couple of days.
The drop.
3-hit shutout of the Bear Creek, formerly New York Gremlins, yesterday. And now on a roll against another fine hitting team in the Northeast Drillers. And you're right, he's had a number of his best pitches have been the drop underneath the hands of right-handed batters.
Cam Schiller. Schiller hit that shallow fly ball leading off the second that David Galino was able to deflect into the glove of Yusuke Morita.
I think Cam's favoring something too. He looked ginger after that swing.
Just off the outside corner. Well, the double play that Cam Schiller was involved in, there was a hard slide by Pannebecker into second base. And whether he caught a piece of Schiller or whether Schiller may have rolled something trying to avoid it, don't know. But both of us noticed, Peter, that he came off the diamond a little quietly. Bartarillo ranges over to his left, and definitely something is wrong with, I think it's the left leg of Cam Schiller, as he's not putting a lot of weight on that going back across the diamond.
Oh, and that would be a massive loss if for some reason he can't continue. They would have Gonzalo Mazmu to insert into the game in an infield position. He's played a lot of third base this week for the Drillers. And then maybe Milheim moves to shortstop. I don't know exactly what they would do.
This one well hit, deep center field. Forget about it. Thomas Inoka takes Ty Sebastian out of the yard and cuts the lead to 1.
Oh, the 34-year-old continues to swing it with authority. 2 for 2 on the day, up to 8 for 12 officially in the tournament as he jumped all over that pitch. barrels it up, as they like to say. Middle.
Well, that was intended to be a low rise ball, but Peter, all it did was it just came into the zone, and Ty Sebastian will lament that pitch. Thomas Anoka buries it out in straightaway center.
And how that's just even changed the feeling in the ballpark.
Well, you talked about it earlier. This Drillers team was in need of a spark. They just got one kindled by Thomas Anoka.
His second home run of the event.
Oh, Ty Sebastian commits larceny against Jordan Solorio.
Was that Ty Sebastian or Jordan Binnington? I couldn't tell. Glove save and a beauty after giving up a home run.
The emphasis now, Peter, after that solo shot by Thomas Anoka, has to be on the defense to get a couple more shutdown innings.
It's true. Waymo Mata, who has been much at his best in this ISC tournament, Blair yet to have a 1-2-3 inning. In fact, his fewest batters that he's worked to was in the second, and that was 4.
Salgado, Pannebecker, and Davis, 7, 8, 9 for the Express here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Mata up to 2 pitches, 33 for strikes.
And if you're wondering why the Express, the home team, sitting in the first base dugout when the ISC puts home teams in the third base dugout, it's because they were the visitors in the first game, and when a team is staying on the field for the immediate next game, we don't make them move benches.
Well, we do know that the Hill United Chiefs will be the home team title game, slated for 5:30. They're the only unbeaten team at this year's ISC World Tournament. A hard-fought 3-1 win over the Northeast Drillers in the winner's bracket final.
In for a strike, if you didn't hear Glenn Brown. Salgado doubled in the second. Hard hit ball, and Zach Shaw has that one go up the arm and off his chin. I think, Peter, that's how hard Alan Salgado hit it. Shaw in position for it, and you can see him. He's checking to make sure all of the dental implements are still in place.
Yeah, he's reaching for the neck as much as anything else. And it got to him so quickly, Blair, that he couldn't even position his glove in the middle of his body. He took that off a backhand, and that's not something he would ever do.
No, he couldn't get the glove turned over. Salgado smashed that. I suspect they've gone error, just knowing how some of the scoring has gone, but I'd be tempted to give it a hit, but it is right at him.
True.
Inside to Cody Panebecker, who jackknifes out of the way. Huimomata turns his back on the plate, and this is a classic passive-aggressive move from Huimomata. When he doesn't agree with the call, you get the back of number 4.
Saw it once last night in the loss.
This one misses down and in to the 8 batter for Bear Creek.
And Juan Zara wants to chat with Huimomata.
Peter, I know sometimes we talk about hiding batters in the order, but when you get to the sharp end of this tournament and the teams of the caliber that they are that are remaining here on Friday and Saturday, one, you're not hiding anybody, and two, many of these guys, if not most, are either current or just former national team players. It's just the order that they come in. You're not hiding your weakest hitter in the 8 or the 9 spot like some people might think of traditionally when you put together a batting order. There's none of that here.
No, and in many ways, with a compressed schedule, everybody's seen everybody's best a lot, Blair, in the last 3-4 weeks.
Called a strike on the outside corner. And that's something I'll take you all the way back, Peter, to Hall of Fame Sunday and talking about with Brent Stevenson, who sat in the chair that you're in now. And Brent, inducted into the Hall of Fame, said, we didn't see anybody from the West Coast or from the East Coast because he played in the Midwest. And there were 20 other great teams to play in the Midwest. With the way that the game has compressed over the years, and especially, and we're blessed with this in Ontario, you don't really need to leave the province to play teams ranked 1 through 6.
Not really. How many players, you think about it, World Cup, USA Major Men's Nationals to Mankato in the last 3.5 weeks? In this field of 3 teams that are remaining, no shortage of players who played in those other 2 events.
Yeah, absolutely. So all of that to say, there is great familiarity amongst all of the top teams with each other. There are no secrets.
No, and in certain cases, you think about whether it's Jack Besgrove or Marco Diaz in particular, well, they're not sneaking up on anybody anymore. Players have 70 to 100 at-bats against those guys now, which wasn't the case a couple years ago.
Not even a couple of years ago. This one is fouled back to the screen by Davis. Yeah, this is a bit of a phenomena post-pandemic. But even then, I mean, the Hills, the Gremlins, the Express last year went out to a tournament out in Western Canada, in Fargo, I think it was, Central U.S. Teams are traveling a little bit. STK came to Ontario this year. Grand Prairie Pirates last year came to Ontario. Everybody's seeing everybody else.
And as a batter, when you're in a rhythm of all these national team and high-end club players, Blair, it's the only type of pitching by and large you're facing all the time.
Is the high-end pitching.
Yes.
Which brings us to the final point. One of the reasons why the hitters have been ahead of the pitchers through much of this season in particular is that familiarity.
And
one of the key contributors to that fact.
And for me, I don't know, like you said, if it's just going to be, an oddity and a different kind of year in the club game to begin with major international events. But it all started in Mitchell, Ontario, starting June 13th.
Yeah, it was a terrific event. Joe and I were very fortunate to get a lot of advance notice from all of those 6 teams that played in what we called the white division. 6 of the top 7 ranked teams. We all want to come. It's a great event. We want to be a part of it. We want to make sure that we're playing events as a club team prior to all the players dispersing for the World Cup.
But it was in that tournament, and I remember you and I chatting at the event, and then after on the phone, I had never remembered seeing batters dominate elite-level pitching like I did in that tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, that was a starting point, and it's evened out a little bit somewhat, I think, here this week, where the Matas and Marco Diaz, but this is not an event to remember for Jack Besgrove.
No. Well, prior to last year's title game loss to the Hill United Chiefs, I wasn't sure Jack Besgrove had the same anatomy as every other human.
He certainly looked superhuman, didn't he?
He sure did.
Ron Hackett is out to talk to his superstar, Wimel Mata, right now after that walk to Yusuf Davis has loaded the bases with nobody out. Peter, we talked at the outset of this inning. We've covered a lot of ground since then, but we talked at the outset of this inning about needing a shutdown. You just got 1 run back. Now you're in danger of giving 1 or more back to the Express here as Callum Bichel, the leadoff batter, now getting his 3rd look at Wimel Mata.
And not easy to get that run either. So you work so hard. What you don't want to do is just hand old Mo right back over.
It was Bichel who hit into that double play, but that was a hard hit ball right back up the middle. Mata was able to deflect it to Schiller, and Schiller with more than enough skill to turn it into a double play. Bichel also walked and scored in the first.
Callum's 7 for 20 now in the tournament.
This one misses inside and falling behind 2-0. And Mata, Peter, just not quite as crisp as he has been earlier in the week.
Well, he had a stretch last night in that winner's bracket game. 13 in a row he sent back to the dugout in a stretch that was about as good from him as I've ever seen. And he's had a lot of great stretches.
And that one catches the inside corner.
And that was a pitch that he's gotten over on a very regular basis this week. At times, when it's in that spot, it's almost unhittable.
It really is, because even as a righty, all you're going to do is you're going to get the handle of the bat on it, not the barrel. That one catches a little more of the plate, but Bichel follows that one off to the screen. So he's worked it back to even. 2 balls, 2 strikes here, working against Callum Bichel, and he's going to have to work his way through the top of the Express order if he's going to get out of this bases-loaded jam. Infield is in tight, but also, it has to be said, shaded up the middle. There is room. Swing and a miss, chases the rise ball well upstairs.
And he looked like he reached down for a little extra, as you could only imagine in the most critical point of the tournament for Mata and the Drillers. A little extra grunt. And boy, that jumped. That went from floor 6 to floor 7 on the elevator of pitching in a hurry.
Yusuke Morita, who slashed a hard hit single through the left side. And again, Peter, they are shaded up the middle. There's a lot of room between short and third. This one is lifted high in the air, but that's going to get out of play on the right side.
After striking out, Yusuke Morita delivered his first hit of the day. He went hitless in the 7-1 triumph earlier today versus STK.
76 pitches for Huemo Mata here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Long look into Zera, and Morita has enough and calls time.
Always the waggle for Mata of that right pitching arm, leaned over. Swings it back and forth.
And a rise ball again gets Morita to swing underneath. That one on the outside corner. When they got him on the strikeout, Peter, they came up and in. The rise ball tailing into the left-handed hitting Morita.
Well, I wouldn't be giving him a strike right here at 0-2.
There's a look at Huemo Mata rotating that hand and wrist. This one is lifted way up in the air. Zach Shaw calls for it out on the grass. And he is 2/3 of the way from a Houdini act, Peter, to get out of this one.
Look to be in a lot of trouble. Just scored their first run. And now boils down potentially to pitcher versus pitcher.
Ty Sebastian to the dish. Ty, a sacrifice bunt in the third. And then down on strikes in the first. So it's advantage to Mata. And gets Sebastian to chase after the rise ball for strike one. Getting ahead is key for Huemo Mata.
Yeah, it's pretty key for everybody in so many different ways. It just allows you to get to your sequences. Harder for batters to sit on a particular pitch.
Well, when he's worked ahead, he's been able to mix in both the rise and the drop. That one just misses on the inside corner, so 1 ball, 1 strike. And again, going inside and trying to bury the ball under the hands.
I did not see it earlier this week, but apparently Sebastian hit one the other day against, I think it was Sandlot, that went a mile. Now Mata will regroup a little bit as I think some dust came up in the eye area of the catcher Juan Zara.
Yeah, Peter, Joe and Todd and I were doing that game. He got hit in the first. When he came up again in the third, he hit it into the volleyball courts. Swing and a miss there. And again, the rise ball from Huemo Mata gets it up over the bat of Ty Sebastian. If you look, Peter, at the light standard out there in left center, and then just a bit to the right, there's a gap in the trees there.
Mm-hmm.
It went through there.
Yeah, that's a ways.
It was ridiculous how far. Probably the longest one of the week for me that I've seen personally.
Yeah, I haven't seen one quite to that extent. Not at this event.
And Sebastian swings over the top of the drop ball this time on the outside corner. And indeed, it is Harry Houdini Huemo Mata. Works out of a bases loaded, nobody out jam, a pair of strikeouts sandwiched around a pop-up.
He's had quality work all week, maybe none better than the work he just displayed with those last 3 batters of the Express.
Let's talk about a local one-stop shop. Live Well for Life is just that, a fitness, nutrition, and therapy facility all under one roof. Located at 3878 Wellington Street in Mitchell, Ontario, you can get so much done in just one visit. A full complement of staff on hand include chiropractic, massage, and personal training to get you back to your healthy self. Find them on the web at livewellforlifeinc.com or give
Live Well for Life, a proud sponsor of the broadcast program.
Peter, we will go to top of the 5th, and for the Northeast Drillers, it'll be Marshall Cronk leading off, and they really need to get a little bit more production here from the bottom of the lineup.
Well, that's hard to argue, but things have started to go a little better for them. Got on the board in the last half inning, and then Waymo Mata, a magician, bases loaded, nobody out, shuts the door to keep it a 1-run game.
Well, we'll see if they can get some momentum from that and take a little bit of an emotional lift. It's really been, honestly, Peter, a bit of a flat game. I haven't heard either bench really in full throat.
I'm with you. It's felt like a bit of a flat day to me from the get-go. And not sure why.
The Express certainly took a lot of air out of the balloon early with that big 6-run first inning against STK. Here's a high hopper to Sebastian, and he throws out Marshall Cronk.
With many pitchers, when they end up with a ball and require a throw, you find yourself a little nervous and wondering where the ball might end up. You really don't when Ty Sebastian has it in his glove in that situation.
No, it's like having an extra shortstop on the field. Zach Shaw grounded out to David Galino. Ball 1. And really, Peter, that production comment I made about the bottom of the order really applies to everybody other than Thomas Anoka.
Very true.
And that is bounced through the hole, and that will set the table for the top of the shop. Shaw, a good bit of hitting there to get that between Pinto and Panabecker.
Well, he's been a 400 hitter a lot of the season. Zach Shaw, a member of the United States national team, and did not record a hit, by the way, at the World Cup. But has a key one here in the 5th.
So back to the top of the shop for Migliavaca. Struck out looking in the first and popped up on a bunt attempt. And to Panabecker for 1, to Galino. Beating it out is the speedy Pablo Teo Migliavaca. Hi, Pablo. Hope you're doing well. Teo Migliavaca narrowly avoiding grounding into a double play.
You know you're fast when this occurs. And what I mean is, as a middle infield player, Blair, you can't do it any better than that. That's a perfect shovel. Galino with an excellent turn. He's got a rocket of an arm and still not quite in time.
Blaine Milheim. Blaine other than Thomas Anoka, the only guy with a hit for. Oh, now Zach Shaw just got one as well. Pardon me, but prior to that, it was Milheim and Thomas Anoka, the only hitters for the Drillers.
Give any thought of starting Migliavaca in this spot on the right count?
It's hard to say. It really is at this point. I'm torn. I've always liked to put guys in motion when I was coaching, but in a 2-1 ball game, do you really want to run yourself out to or into an out when you've only got precious few left? You've only got 7 outs here to play with.
You do, but you still have 2, 3, 4 coming up in the next inning. Just a thought.
Well, we'll see if Ron Hackett agrees. He's calling all the signals for the Drillers. The Team USA coach is in that third base coach's box for Northeast Drillers.
This would be the count I would do it on if I was going to do it.
I wouldn't mind a hit and run here.
Absolutely. But that's harder with 2 outs, too.
Well, on the move and not throwing is Bert. Do you want to give some lottery numbers next?
Just made a lot of sense to me. Right count. Obviously, we're talking about the possibility you're down a run. You have the 2, 3, 4 hitters coming up, even if it doesn't work out. I would have gone to the nose and the ears and then the leg, which might have been an old signal pattern when I coached kids in that spot myself.
So the runner in scoring position for Blaine Milheim. Mr. Consistent here this week for the Drillers.
Ready to put down.
He was headed for first, wasn't he? But a called strike.
Blaine's had an excellent week. Another hit in this game. I believe he's had a hit in every single game he's played. At least that's what I have him down for. 3 multi-hit games as well.
Full count on Blaine Milheim. Swings over the top. The inside drop again from Ty Sebastian has made that his pitch here today.
A great time. Big acquisition in the offseason, moving from the Batman to the Express as he takes away the scoring opportunity.
We'll go to the bottom of the 5th, Peter, and again, we'll go back to the statement, need another shutdown inning. That's not going to change. And he gets Luigi Pinto again, second time today. And a couple of guys are going to come out to see how Luigi Pinto is doing from the Bear Creek dugout.
Yeah, and
some more.
Not the only reason they're coming out either.
And a couple more still. And Juan Zera is saying, listen, and we talked about this earlier, he's out over the plate. Can't argue that point. But it sucks getting hit, especially by somebody who throws as hard as Huemo Mata.
In a game earlier this week that the Hill United Chiefs played in, Lenny Villavazzo was hit 3 times. This is not the race you want to win.
No, not at all.
To catch up.
I don't know that we have an official stat on this. I think the all-time unofficial hit-by-pitch leader would be Patty Shannon. He used to get hit 4 or 5 times a tournament annually. A lot of times by Dean Holine, too.
I'm not interested in that program. What a great human Dean Holine is. And what a great pitcher he was.
Now, Pinto's not made any move towards first base. Did this get called a foul ball, too?
It might have.
Can we run this one more time?
It might have. Yeah, he's going back into the batter's box, Blair.
Well, that's definitely off the elbow. I guess they're saying the elbow, Peter, is in the strike zone.
That's the only way you can make that call, because that does not go off a bat. That is for certain.
It's ball 1. Sorry, that was strike 1, so now that's strike 2.
But the umpire
did he
just put up 1 and 1.
He just put up 1 and 1. Okay, all right. Well, I'm going to stop trying to guess what's in other people's minds. It's lifted up over near the dugout, and Milheim will go track that down.
Well, you were told at an early age in these kind of situations, when you're instructed to play the sport, to get to the fence first and then find the ball. And that's exactly what Blaine Milheim did. He was very aware of his surroundings, how much room he had, and makes the play.
Luigi Pinto, I'm sure, a very sour taste in his mouth right now.
Well, that was an angry swing.
Galino open up with a strike from Huemo Mata.
David has what right now is the go-ahead run batted in the game and a 2-run first. And we almost lost Huemo Mata into that hole.
Yeah, he had a second look at the landing area.
That one leg almost disappeared from sight.
Well, we almost lost Joe Todd out there yesterday in the trophy presentation in the ISC 2 game. He nearly disappeared into that crater. One hopper to Big Marshall Kronk. Steps on the bag.
The mark of great pitching is not always what you do when you're just rolling along. It's what you do, Blair, when it becomes its most difficult. And can't help but think that you wouldn't get a little extra burst after working his way out of a no one out, bases loaded jam in the last half inning.
Well, there's an opportunity here now for him to have his first clean inning in the game. He's got 2/3 of the way. Has to get through Ty Bartarillo still.
Neither pitcher has one, by the way, in the game. Not by my scorebook, which can be wrong at times.
Gets him to chase upstairs with the rise ball. 89-90 pitches now for Huemo Mata.
Up and in here.
Well, went down and in, but not really the pitch that he wanted to deliver. And again, he's going to do some landscaping. And it's not that he's filling that in. He's actually kicking the loose dirt out of the hole. Because what you're looking for is a stable landing. You don't want that landing foot to slip. And time at the plate by Bartarillo.
By the way, how's the yard work around the pool at home? Pretty good?
Pretty good as always, yeah.
Very nice.
You're always welcome. You and I are practically neighbors.
The only thing I've ever had with a pool is being asked to clean it, not own it.
That one fouled into the team grouping for the CR Brewers, the Legends team, and they will be up next on this diamond, taking on the Coburg Force. The Force champions last year, the Brewers champions the year before.
Did they meet in the final both times?
No, last year it was the Force and All Seasons.
No, Bartarillo is making Mata work for a 1-2-3 fifth inning.
You would expect nothing less from Ty Bartarillo as well. Been around the game a long time and a professional hitter.
I think he's 41 now.
That one misses down. Full count to Bartarillo here in the fifth. And ball four still can't get a clean inning.
It's just not meant to be in this game.
No, it is elusive, that is for sure. A good eye by Teron Bartarillo, and that will get us to the hot-hitting Alan Salgado. Doubled in the second, scorched a ball at Zach Shaw. I've got it marked error. I'm not sure what they did in Game Changer, to be honest. It could have gone either way. He hit it so hard, but it was right at Zach Shaw, and I'm sure he would tell you that's a play he should make.
He didn't even have time to put his glove in the proper place. He got stuck with it in a backhanded situation.
Well, they went 1 for 2 in Game Changer because I'm seeing him come up as that being the stat line.
So they called it an error.
They would have called it an error as well.
I keep getting forced in and out, and I'm tired of signing in every 5 minutes.
It's been a struggle with Game Changer today.
Today?
Strike on the outside corner.
Salgado only with 5 at-bats coming into this game during the tournament, but he's 3 for 7 now.
Fouls this one straight back to the screen. Alan Salgado has been swinging the bat so well for this Express team when given the opportunity, that being the qualifier.
Played in a couple of World Cups over the years himself. Believe in 2015 in Saskatoon and then 2019 in Prague for Mexico.
In the World Tournament last year with the Glowworm team.
Yeah, batted .385, if memory serves. And I might have a note in front of me that would.
If you look through the ISC website on the home page in the picture carousel, right at the top of the home page, there's a great shot of Alan Salgado that will come up crushing a ball. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. Almost a clean inning for Hoimo Mata, the closest he's had to it, at least here in the 5th. The Drillers are down to their final 6 outs, but it feels like they've never really been out of this game. One swing away.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca. We can't wait to see you soon.
Ty Sebastian asking for a different ball from home plate umpire Glenn Brown.
Defensive change, Blair. I wonder if Luigi Pinto is okay. Dylan Cunningham has gone in to play first base.
Yeah, well spotted, Peter. And indeed, he was holding that arm after he got pinned. He's walking in behind the dugout, and he's got a big ice pack on his right arm. So that is well spotted. Both arms. He looks like he's got water wings on.
I don't mean to chuckle, but I had only seen the one as he stepped into an area where I could visually see him, and I only saw the one, and then I glanced again and saw both. You know, it's been a rough day at the office when
Riley Macchia at the plate, and you just pitch around him, Peter. You don't want to put the tying run on base, but he's already in scoring position.
He is. And I think one of the reasons people have felt that he's been so hot recently is due to a pair of 2 home run games, one at the World Cup and then one against Team Marquez at the men's major championship in Oklahoma City.
And the throw, they got him on the tag. The throw from Galeno, of all people, took Dylan Cunningham away from the bag. Macchia tried to run coming out of the box, and it was just a non-starter, and then tried to deke around Cunningham. Got halfway around him, but Dylan able to reach back and put the tag on him.
Isn't it crazy how many times as a defensive substitution the ball finds you in a hurry? That was a great recovery by Cunningham to spin and put the tag on for the first out.
It was, and Riley Macchia back to the dugout and clearly nowhere near full capacity.
Pitterona and Michael Holobratic, who's been up a couple of times. In fact, they both have. At one point a few innings ago, they were throwing to one another. One guy would be the catcher, and then it switched.
Zera at the plate. Back to Sebastian in the first, and then down on strikes in the fourth. And inside to Juan Zera.
He almost walked right into that. And Sebastian asking where that pitch was.
Well, Zara not quite as egregious as some in getting out over the plate, but when he leans, he's out there. He chases downstairs.
Ty has had himself a very fine game again. Just the one mistake in this one, the Thomas Anoka home run in inning number 4.
And again, buries it inside under the hands, and Zara foul tip right into the glove of Jack Burt.
Yeah, that pitch has been absolutely miserable for right-handed hitters in this game to deal with.
Look at that. You cannot touch that pitch as a right-handed batter.
It's impossible to hit that. Impossible in that location. What a great pitch.
Cam Schiller. An unconventional fly ball out in the second, and then grounded down to Bartarillo at third. That was back in the fourth. And Sebastian opens up Schiller with a strike. And Peter, we're talking about guys not playing at 100%. Cam Schiller, maybe not even 75.
Agreed. How about his first at-bat in the game? Fly out off of the shortstop to the center fielder. No fly out here.
Well, he drills this to straightaway center, right back up the middle. And there will be a pinch hitter for sure. Pinch runner for sure, as Ron Hackett makes his way down to converse with Glenn Brown. And that, I believe, is Carrera.
Yep.
Yeah, Gennaro Correa coming out of the dugout. He was a late addition to the team, replacing Emiliano Solorio, who could not make the trip for bureaucratic reasons.
Oh, I love it. You give it just a nice little twist every time. Correa has one at-bat in the event. Came in a game against the watered-down Hammer. Played for Argentina in the 2023 U18 World Cup. And here finds himself running at first.
And Thomas Anoka, the man of the hour for the Northeast Drillers. 2 innings ago, a line shot over the fence in straightaway center. And Thomas Anoka wants time at the plate.
He's 2 for 2 on the day. He singled his first appearance.
Sebastian about to hit 80 pitches here with this delivery. And inside to Thomas Anoka.
Tried to bury that under the hands. And he's lived there a lot of this afternoon, especially to righties.
And again, they tried to come inside, but that one misses down low. 2-0 to Thomas Anoka. 2 out in the inning. Tying run is over at first in the form of Gennaro Correa.
And Blair, you know that conversation was about do not give this guy right now anything to drive.
That one hits the padding and goes 1.5 miles in the air. You think you've seen everything here this week, Peter? Hadn't seen that before.
Oh, never say that. Anytime you think you have, it never holds true for any length of time. There's always something.
That hit right, you would call it the dasher board in hockey, right at the top of the padded area. That's at the base of the screen. Paul Sebastian is out just to check on Ty because he wobbled a little bit with that delivery as he missed everybody. And 3-0, and Ty doing some stretching out there in behind the circle. So they've put Thomas Anoka aboard. There's no point trying to go after him 3-0. And that moves the tying run up to second base. Well, he was there anyway.
On the wild pitch.
Wild pitch. But they've given ball 4 intentionally to Thomas Anoka. And they're just going to start over with Yordan Solorio. He's not at 100% either.
No chance.
Does he have enough left in him to get a ball out onto the grass? And they come in tight to Solorio, who looks out at Sebastian and gives a bit of kick in the dirt in the general direction of the circle.
Even being unable from this vantage point to see his face, I bet he just won the dirty look competition.
Oh, without a doubt. That was not a sardonic grin.
No, no.
Foul ball out of play.
You see him after the swing? It's like he wanted to go right out and get him. Took a couple of steps up right at Ty Sebastian, who's wiping off the brow and the glasses.
You know who used to do that little two-step after an inside pitch like that was Ben Anoka. Still does it. Just like, I'm here. You're not going to move me back. Solorio, just his second ISC World Tournament. Already an all-star. A little dribbler to Shaw, steps on the bag, and they get out of the inning. Not Shaw, Panabecker, pardon me. Cody Panabecker ranges to his right and gets the express out of the inning.
And again, where was the pitch? In on the hands. He fought it off, but unable to drive it through, and it remains 2-1 for the Bear Creek Express.
And Peter, that last spot is Let Us Love, a vegan lunch spot down in Hamilton, Ontario. And I think we've run into some copyright issues with the music that normally goes with that ad. But do want to thank them for being a sponsor. And if you're in the Hamilton, Ontario area, downtown Hamilton, give them a look. Those bowls certainly look really good.
Oh, I could crush one of those right now.
You and me both.
I wasn't at the chef with you guys this morning at breakfast.
Happy Chef, longtime fast pitch sponsor, had a lot of success at the top level of the game. Did not win an ISC World Tournament, but talking to Les Novak the other night, and he was there for breakfast this morning too. Panabecker, first pitch, and that's fouled down left side to Blaine Milheim. It was Panabecker who got Ty Sebastian out of that tight jam in the top of the sixth. And Peter, maybe that might have been the last look for the Drillers, as we'll go to the seventh here following the bottom of the sixth. And the Express would dearly love to add to this one-run lead.
Yeah, the Drillers, in case you're wondering, Kronk, Shaw, and top of the order, Migliavaca due up right now in the seventh.
Huimomata has just crossed into 102 pitches on the game. That one misses downstairs to Panabecker. Hit by a pitch in the second and then walked in the fourth, so no official at bats for Cody here in this one. But he has been a spark plug all week for this Bear Creek team. Somebody said maybe the MVP of the week for Bear Creek, although I think you're maybe overlooking Ty Sebastian with that statement. But the offensive MVP, quite possibly.
Well, when he's made contact, it's mattered. 4 hits, 3 of them home runs, and had homered in the last 2 games prior to this one.
This one is going to be fouled back out of play.
The 32-year-old from Denver, Pennsylvania, Cody Panabecker.
Last couple of years, he's been with the AWP Lumberjacks squad, but that team ceasing operations at the end of 2024 for various reasons. And Cody, one of many brought into the Bear Creek Express as this lineup completely remade around Ty Sebastian, primarily. David Galino, the only holdover from last year.
Interesting that you mentioned that, and obviously, you know, you go over the rosters. I didn't quite understand to the extent, Blair, the overhaul until you said that today, but it makes perfect sense when I think about who's here and who's not.
They ask if Panabecker went around, and no, he did not. And on base
again
for the 3rd time this game. All 3 at bats have resulted in Cody Panabecker reaching base. Peter Luciano just showed me our online poll on YouTube. Who will make it to the championship game? Split 50-50, exactly down the middle. The voters in the audience.
Not surprised. And the game's kind of lived up to it. The Hill United Chiefs await the winner in the championship game as they're back in it. A much different path for them in 2025 than having to do what the Bear Creek Express are trying to do when they won 3 in a row last year to capture the crown.
It's the first time the Chiefs have gone directly to the championship game since 2017.
I know they were slated to practice as they have each and every game day morning. Even on the off day, they practiced.
Yusuf Davis involved in a very scary incident 2 nights ago. Recovered nicely from that, but he and Yusuke Morita, Peter, both of them chasing a home run ball and collided basically head to head in the outfield at the fence.
And it knocked the fence over.
Well, Yusuf taken to hospital on a precautionary basis. He was checked out and cleared medically and back in the lineup the next day.
I was very surprised to see him walking down below yesterday. Pleasantly surprised.
But just a very scary incident for Yusuf Davis and the Express, and for Yusuke Morita, too. He was shaken up on the plate, but just not to the same extent. Fouled off. And Yusuf, similarly, Peter, you'll remember last year, hit in the head by a pitch, like the first pitch of the inning. It was the bottom of the first, and hit by a pitch. And bounced back up. A tough, tough individual.
He was down for a long time then as well. Not as long as the other night.
Upstairs from Mata, and a good at bat on the go here. Long look in from Hoimomata for the sign, and Davis patiently waggles the bat. Off the glove, step on the bag, over to first, call it 2. Hoimomata able to deflect the ball in all the right places here this afternoon.
We had an interesting 1-6-3 off his glove earlier. Now it's a 1-4-3. Good composure by Zach Shaw, and turned it over to get a very good runner in Yusuf Davis, who hit it hard back up the middle.
Well, Shaw's going to the bag anyway because he's going to be getting the toss from what likely would have been Cam Schiller, but just gets it deflected to him and is able to make the adjustment on the fly. Speaking of on the fly, Bichelle, center field, and hauled down by Teo Migliavaca at the fence.
Callum Bichel, who homered earlier today in the win over STK, almost provided the Express with some insurance. Not quite.
They got to go out and fix that fence.
A metal roof lasts a lifetime. Thousands trust Metal Roof Outlet to install stylish, stone-coated metal roofing that looks just like traditional shingles. Make a smart and worthwhile investment for your home with Metal Roof Outlet. Contact us through metalroofoutlet.com to get a quote for a roof replacement anywhere in Southern Ontario. Because when you trust Metal Roof Outlet with your roof replacement, it may be the last time you ever replace your roof.
Marshall Cronk, Zach Shaw, Teo Migliavaca for the Northeast Drillers. Peter, somebody's got to get on for the top of the shop.
Well, you don't have any options left. This is the 7th, trailing by a run.
Ball 1 to Marshall Cronk, who struggles here this week continue. Strikeout and a tapper back to Sebastian.
1 for 11 in the tournament.
There's that inside drop ball to righties. That's been lethal today from Ty Sebastian. Right back to the screen. And I've heard the Northeast Drillers bench a lot louder than they are today, Peter. And I don't understand the lack of emotional intensity. And it's not just the Drillers, it's both sides. This has been a real quiet affair. It's like it's a Tuesday night league game.
It has that feel to it. I agree with you.
Things got a little heated when Pinto got hit for the second time. But beyond that, there's really just been, that was a little bit of noise from the Drillers bench there, but
Compare that to what we heard in the winners bracket final last night, or in so many games here.
I take you back to the Ostrander game, too. These guys were in full throat. Downstairs to Cronk, and a full count opening up the 7th.
Boy, this would be quite a time for him to deliver a hit. His only one came in their first game of the tournament.
Sebastian to the hip. And inside, down low, ball 4. A walk to Kronk, and maybe the biggest walk of the tournament for Marshall Kronk.
And Gonzalo Masmu is going to come in to run for him, as we would have most certainly expected from Ron Hackett.
Shaw, who singled in the 5th, grounded out to short back in the 3rd.
Here we go.
Tying run aboard, and Masmu runs very, very well. So it's not going to be easy if Ty Sebastian is trying to put away the Northeast Drillers. Chases upstairs. Big rise ball.
No, this is what it's all about right here.
Bichot is deep in right, equally so out in left for Davis. Merida about average depth in center. And that one is fouled straight back to the screen. Shaw had an excellent cut at that, but he's now in a hole 0-2.
Did he ever? From Odessa, Missouri, is Zach Shaw. He's had a very good year for the Drillers.
Chases the rise ball upstairs. A big strikeout for Ty Sebastian to get Zach Shaw. Teo Migliavaca reached on a fielder's choice in the 5th when he legged out the back end of a double play attempt by the Express. Upstairs from Sebastian, and a good leave by Teo Migliavaca to not chase that rise ball. Sebastian again sets. That's going to go foul down the left side into the fence.
This is always the guy in this lineup, and I know they have great hitters in this lineup, but if I was involved and on the other team, this guy might make me the most nervous to deal with in a big situation. And I know they have great hitters everywhere.
They've got great hitters everywhere, and it might come down to Riley Makia if Migliavaca or Milheim can get on base. Chases the rise ball this time underneath. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Teo Migliavaca.
So one of the trends is the rise up and into the lefties, and under the hands, the drop ball to right-handed batters.
Yeah, I've got to think he's going to come back with the rise ball again here. Got a little too much of the strike zone with that one. Left that in the zone.
But it's exactly what you predicted would happen.
It's on pattern. Sebastian looking for the count. It remains 1 ball and 2 strikes to Teo Migliavaca. And time at the plate for Migliavaca to readjust the gloves. Just throwing off the rhythm for Sebastian. I don't think that's going to bother Ty and iota. There's the drop, and he gets Migliavaca to swing over the top. Bear Creek Express, and out away from a date in the ISC World Tournament Championship game.
Blaine Milheim in a spot to keep it alive for the Northeast Drillers.
A single sandwiched around 2 strikeouts for Milheim today. A dribbler, and that is a fair ball. Dylan Cunningham steps on the bag, and the Express will get to the ISC Championship game, a date with Destiny and the Hill United Chiefs.
I'll give Ty Sebastian all the credit in the world as he delivers another 7-inning gem. He did so yesterday to end the hopes and dreams of the Bear Creek Gremlins. Really wasn't needed earlier today, even though he pitched a couple innings in their win over STK Fastball. But he was superb again, and he indeed has pitched his new team. A huge off-season acquisition, Blair. You mentioned they kind of built it around him. They gave him the keys to the car, and he's driven it into the ISC World Tournament Final.
An outstanding effort by Sebastian. Don't overlook the hitting by this team early in the game from Luigi Pinto and David Galino, driving in runs in the first, and Sebastian making that stand up the entire way. Peter, an outstanding ball game here in the third place game. We're going to put the ISC on pause for one game to allow Bear Creek to collect themselves. We're going to bring you the Legends Championship coming up. Coburg Force and the CR Brewers. Joe Todd and I will have that one for you. And then Peter will be back with the three of us for the World Tournament Championship game, round about 5:30-ish Central Time. Called strike 3, the outside corner. They work out of that. Again. High in the air, Viavazo comes to get it, and the Chiefs are back to the top of the mountain. The gloves fly. The celebration is underway.